Also, some insights from our friend Todd Hipsher. Had him on Newsmax. We saw him at Jim Kelly's like, Rick.
Todd's been a captain for 30 years for the fire department. And Rick goes, I want to interview him. I'm like, go right over there.
And we talked to him, and that interview is coming up as well, the full interview. We had a little teaser of it on the Smash. But then I had him come on my Newsmax show, and I'm telling you, the guy was terrific. And he might get a lot more airtime on Newsmax now.
Because I hope it helps my acting career. I hope he does. He could totally be an actor.
This guy is huge. He works out like a fiend. Like he's
jacked.
A big bear of a dude. And he's a perfect character actor.
He totally is.
Like he could play a bad guy, a motorcycle guy. Like
yeah, he could be like, what was that motorcycle? Gangs of.
Yeah, what was that called? Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, Sons of Anarchy.
And a lot of focus on the DEI hires of the LA Fire Department.
Well, that's what Todd's interview that I took away. My takeaway was, he's a captain. You saw how big and burly this guy. I want that guy to
they're
go
going to.
Oh, okay.
We haven't played it yet.
Okay. Are we going to play it here? Or
yes. Yes.
Okay.
But right now, let's just say this guy could carry anybody out of a burning building. Okay, he's like 6'5".
Me and him put together.
And he's a giant. That's who you want coming to your house. And I asked him that on the Newsmax interview Thursday night. I said, how do people? Because the deputy chief. Should I show those videos of the deputy chief? Because we did that on the Smash, right? Yeah. I'm going to play the video from the deputy chief who said, when you have a fire, you want someone who responds who looks like you. You don't want, a white guy if you're a black lesbian woman. You want a black lesbian woman. No. Todd's like, you want a red fire truck and someone who knows how to handle the situation and get you to safety. You don't care what they look like. Right. And half the time they're wearing masks anyway. They're wearing those, the oxygen masks, and they're all suited up with the helmets. What a joke. So here's what the deputy chief said.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better.
Todd was pissed about that. He's pissed about these random hires of people who aren't qualified, but they're being hired because they fit the profile of what the race, the sex, the ethnicity, the choices, all that.
My morale's down. And I really don't want to try that hard. And then it snowballs down where you're like, it's like Rick had the best analogy about the sports, right? Like you're playing Major League Baseball. You have minor leagues coming in here trying to play major leagues.
Yeah, you're going to lose.
You're going to lose.
Yeah.
You're going to lose.
And I don't remember who it was that made the other analogy that if you're a baseball team and you're playing without bats and balls, you're screwed. And these firefighters had no water in the hydrants. You can't fight a fire without water. So without further ado, here's Todd Hipsher, a 30-year LAFD veteran. You were an LA firefighter for 30 years?
30 years. Captain for 22.
Wow. And your reaction to what you're seeing now in Los Angeles?
Well, it's obviously a tragedy, as you know, but you need the proper tools to be able to do your job, and you need leadership. Lack of leadership creates lack of morale and just what went on. It's a unique fire. The winds were very strong that day, but you have to be able to have your personnel, your equipment, manpower, and water. And if you have a reservoir that's empty and you have no water coming out of the fire hydrants, you don't have a chance.
During your 30 years as an LA firefighter, did you ever have that experience where there was no water in the hydrant?
Well, I mean, maybe you pull up on one fire hydrant and it doesn't work, but you got 25 other ones that work. So no, not like that, where you have no water and no pressure, period.
Do you think that this was a no-win based on the lack of leadership and the lack of water, among other things?
I would say it's a no-win based on lack of leadership and lack of water, yes. When you put DEI hires in positions, I think you lose the morale of people that really, LA Fire, those guys are animals. They want to go to work. They want fires like this.
Yeah.
Not tragedies like this, but they want to work. hungry for this, and when you give them no chance to do their job with the proper tools, it's like a sports team that doesn't have the right balls or the right equipment. You're against the odds.
Look at him. But can I just ask you a question really quick? I feel like I'm on TMZ. Do you think a lady, do they get extra, like, do they have lower standards or as a man to do the test as a firefighter? Or if they?
Well, I mean, when I got on the job in 1983, it was very arduous, and the standards
Go in here.
to pass the test and to get hired, many men can pass.
Many men could pass.
And when they lowered the standards to allow more women to get hired, it just created the whole department was dumbed down. So when I came on the job, I think there was one woman, and she was a beast. She deserved to be on.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a problem with that, but there's a lot of men that shouldn't have passed either. So when you lower the standards, you create a lower type of efficiency.
The lower quality of firefighting.
Exactly.
You lower the standards, you lower the abilities, you lower the threshold, and you have insufficient guys, women, whatever.
Yeah.
Did you see the video of the deputy chief saying that people who call 911 want a firefighter who looks like them to show up to help?
Absolutely. What a disgrace. And she said, if my husband was in the burning building and I couldn't get him out, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's absolutely ridiculous as someone in a leadership position like that. Hey, that's what we do. We go into buildings to get people out. And if we can't get them out, then we're doing something completely wrong.
That's the job, right?
That's the job. And we're risking our lives for the citizens that pay our salary.
I had the same reaction. I'm not a firefighter, but I looked at that and said, you're a first responder. It doesn't matter how or why they're in that situation. Your job is to get them to safety.
Absolutely. 100%.
How many times did you do that over your 30 years?
Oh, countless times. I can't even tell
Yeah,
you.
you obviously could carry pretty much anybody out of the burning building.
I mean, that's the goal. I mean, I kept myself in good shape, but, you know, you build your crew around people that have the same goals as you do. You put yourself in situations where, hey, this is going to be a busy station. So we build a crew around how busy we want to be and how active we want to go. But I will say that, you know, protecting life and property, that's what the citizens of LA pay their taxes for. And to have the chief say on television that, oh, we could have stopped the fire anyway, the winds were too much, and that's just BS to me. And why put your guys and women out there?
I read a couple of days ago that the response time was somewhere north of 45 minutes, up to an hour and a half in some areas when the initial fire broke out.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, they have quick responses up there, and but the governor should have moved all kinds of other resources in because they knew the winds were coming, which he said he did. Do I believe it? No. I mean, but you got to put people in places to give yourself the best chance to succeed.
I heard another story about Oregon firefighters that came down to help out, and they got stopped in Sacramento because they had to do emissions tests on their fire truck before they let them go down there.
Well, I got to contradict that because I know that story. First, that's not true.
It's not true.
No.
Okay. But when you were watching these fires burn and saw how they were raging out of control and the difficulties firefighters were having, did you feel a sense of, wow, I could have put that thing down, or they're really not doing a good job on this?
No, I'm not going to say that because I think that they were against all odds.
Yeah.
But I was watching it and I was getting upset because it just seemed like I didn't see enough resources out there at the time. I understand that the aircrafts weren't able to fly because it was too windy. It was kind of a perfect storm, per se.
Yeah.
And I don't know, my personal opinion, I think once it jumped over on the other side of PCH, I think they could have done a better job over there. But I wasn't there, so I'm not going to Monday morning quarterback.
Well, what about the budget cut?
I was just going to say that about Karen Bass cutting $17 million.
What about the budget cuts?
That pisses me off. That pisses me off. And firing guys for a fake vaccine, that pisses me off. You take people out of their positions, guys that put their life on the line for years and years, and now all of a sudden you're going to remove them from their job because they didn't get a vaccine. That is BS.
I would go back and sue.
And on top of that, the budget cuts, LA is growing at a rapid pace. You have to keep up with the infrastructure and the population that's growing. You can't have the same amount of fire stations, less amount of firefighters, and achieve the same goals of fire suppression. It just doesn't work. It's span of control. It's common sense.
What's your hope now, moving forward?
Well, my hope now is what I've seen on TV is a lot of finger pointing. I hope they can get past that. I hope that now that more elites are affected, I guess, maybe the voice will be heard louder that DEI is a bunch of crap. And I think, excuse me, the best people for the job.
Jeez, hold on. That's loud.
The best people for the job should be the ones that are hired.
Yeah.
It should be the ones that are promoted. Not based on your skin color, not based on your sexual orientation, not based on whatever. I mean, as a fireman for 30 years, people don't care. They don't care what you are or what you look like. When they call 911, they want you to solve their problems. They don't care if you have a tattoo on your hand, if you have one on your neck, if you can do the job.
If you're vaxxed, unvaxxed, they don't care.
They don't care. I mean, I was a paramedic when HIV was the big thing. We didn't know what to do. You still had to go in and do your job. They didn't fire you because, there was no vaccine for HIV. You just went in and did your job. That's what they pay us for.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy. Don't interrupt your workout.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, he was a firefighter in LA for 30 years. Burned down. I'm like, we gotta get him on. So what do you think of Gavin Newsom, really quick?
What do I think of Gavin Newsom? I think he is the scummiest man on the planet. I can't stand him.
Same.
And I think that, God, he did an interview yesterday or something. It looked like he was on coke. He was shaking and dancing all over the place. And they should have recalled him the first time.
That's what I did. I voted against him. We all did here in Orange County.
He is
the scum.
Very disgraceful.
I
Do
agree.
you blame him more than Karen Bass, or are they both equally responsible for the nonsense that's going on?
I think his footprints are all over this. This is him. And I think, as they say, Trump's been right for just about everything. 3 years ago, he talked about this water stuff and all the vegetation and all the stuff that's...
That guy just took a picture.
all this stuff that's been going on. And 3 months ago on Rogan, he said the same thing. So, as far as Newsom, this is his responsibility. He has a personal vendetta against Donald Trump, and he should pay a hefty price for this.
Okay, the plumber just called.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Todd. We love you.
Love the guy. Respect the guy. I respect all firefighters.
Did you know he was a firefighter? You've known him for a while.
I think I knew it, and I forgot.
Yeah.
Because I'm forgetful. And then you reminded me. I was like, oh, we got to talk to this guy.
Yes.
Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for wanting to do the interview.
Well, yeah, and again.
It's hot in here. I'm sorry.
Oh, it is?
Well, it's those lights.
You want to turn the
getting a
fan
hot
on?
flash.
Oh,
No, it's okay. I'll just do
Okay.
this.
So, along with these fires, there has been a lot of now public efforts to get charitable donations to people who need it, because